What's up, you guys? I'm Dr. P. Welcome back to the channel for yet another Fortnite theory video. Now, in this one, we're going to be discussing even more crazy Fortnite lore theories that you guys have sent in to me, and obviously, there's a lot going on right now to discuss. But first up, I do want to point out that it just came out today. There is going to be an update dropping Wednesday, June 18th, and apparently it is going to contain a mini event. It's pretty dang cool to see a mini event like this happen so early in the season. It's my hope that we will have some major lore takeaways. This will be Epic's final update before they take their basically month-long summer break. Hopefully there will be enough content to go around for a month. Now let's talk about a couple other revelations I've had since my last video, with a couple more links between Chapter 6 and Chapter 1. So it came to my attention that during the Chapter 6 Season 3 trailer, there's a bunch of people on the battle bus, including the suntan specialist, along with the camo pet, both of which came out in Chapter 1. Superman then has to save the day to keep the bus from falling, and during the process, somehow the suntan specialist merged with the camo pet to become Ziggy, the new Battle Pass skin. The significance of this one is that it is a Chapter 6 Season 3 Battle Pass skin that has been created using two different elements of Chapter 1. You could very much argue that this skin, Ziggy, is simply a remixed suntan specialist, which of course we know they're doing all those OG remixes for the OG chapter. Here's a comment from JustSwag25 who says, "Didn't Bunker Jonesy have future visions in Season 9 that he drew after collecting Fort Bites? Isn't that similar to what Hope's doing now with her graffiti? Could be a connection." Of course, Hope has drawn some graffiti here at Supernova Academy, which shows a rocket, among a bunch of other things, blasting off from one of Daigo's spires. It was demonstrated in Chapter 5 that Hope could see the future and would draw things out that were basically visions, which, you're right, Just Swag, Bunker Jonesy did the exact same thing in Chapter 1, warning us about the Caddis/Devourer. If we're gonna compare visions between Hope and Bunker Jonesy, it's probably worth pointing out that Bunker Jonesy is just an alternate version of Agent Jones himself, which of course Hope is working with right now. Speaking about the Visitor and his rocket, here's a really interesting point about the Visitor. The new Visitor, that is, even though I'm pretty convinced they are the same people. Before the new OG chapter dropped, it was leaked that the new Visitor skin would be called the Visitor Reality 157. When the OG pass dropped and we were able to see the name for ourselves, it was actually the Visitor Reality Unknown, which threw a lot of people off. And the simple fact that they revoked that specific reality from the name before release makes people think even harder and make them even more curious about what Reality 157 even is. But anyway, listen to this. When you go into Fall Guys modes and you're equipping the new Visitor skin, it actually will still show up in-game as Reality 157. I think that's pretty interesting, but this could easily be an error or some sort of oversight by Epic simply to not take this out of the game before they push the update out. But then again, it makes you really wonder, is it supposed to be Reality 157? Is that reality going to be revealed at a later date to be where this guy is from? Anyway, on to the next point. Huntmaster Sands in my Discord, you should join by the way, sent this post which says, kind of interesting that this loading screen shows the floating golden orb at Utopia City. Every other panel here shows different characters, so it's interesting that they're highlighting it specifically instead of a different character. Interestingly enough, you can also see in that same tile showing the orb some blue energy type beams just kind of heading out in all directions. Lego dropped this tweet in my Discord that says the floating golden sphere in Utopia City is called Orb Statue. Combined with the 0-point portal called Shrine and those 6 pillars, it's safe to assume this whole thing is just a 0-point memorial or shrine. Personally, I think it's a little bit more than just a memorial. It's in Utopia City. There is a literal portal showing the Chapter 1 Season 8 vault. Plus, there's just too many gameplay links that have been leaked. Don't get me wrong, it's definitely possible this could be just some sort of memorial or shrine to the 0 point, but if it's true that it's just a shrine, that would be severely disappointing after everything else we've been talking about. Now, here's something else to consider. Here's maybe another link to Chapter 1. The golden sphere in the files is called Orb Statue. That word statue is what sticks out to me. Back during the event that exposed the 0 point from the vault, the mecha had to use a sword that he pulled out of the ground where the handle was a statue. Of course, that statue in Neo Tilted was that of Singularity, which has massive tie-ins to everything we're talking about here. LEGO also threw this out there in my Discord where he said, I want to know more about the Looper calendar and why it had symbols of the 7 that appeared in Chapter 3. Looks eerily similar to the Vault. So it appears that this has symbols for 5 of the different 7 members, those being the Foundation, the Paradigm, the Visitor, the Origin, and the Scientist. But notably, the Sisters, the Imagined, and the Order are absent. At least I think. You'd gotta think something like this, that is obviously trying to depict something pretty important, would matter at some point in time. Now's just as good a time as any with the resemblance between that calendar and the actual Vault. Today it was announced there's a new permanent mode coming called Blitz Royale. It's fast-paced and apparently made for mobile. To me though, the promo cover is very interesting because you can see up in the sky a golden rift. I don't know if we've ever seen a golden rift of any kind ever before, and I'm not sure if this new game mode is gonna have some massive lore tie-in with that gold rift, but it's absolutely something to keep an eye on, as I'm guessing Blitz Royale takes place in another reality somewhere. That's pretty much it for this video. Be sure to leave your theories below, subscribe to the channel, use code Dr. P, like the video, join the Discord, all the different things to make sure you are staying connected. If you like this video, click the screen to watch another one of my videos, but it's even better